Okay, folks. I'm going to start on this one now. And all I've done here is I've drawn a little scene on it, not much, just a boat there and a horizon and maybe some rocks. And then I covered it in some transparent oxide red, thinned out with white spirits. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to mark, have I got the right glass? Oh, I do have the right glass. So, I'll get a wee brush here. And all I'm going to do is just mark out this boat. Right, okay. Oh, this is just to, so I don't go over it by accident and all of that thing. It's just to hold it there for me. Alright, and just, let me see, I'm just being somewhat there. I just want to have it. This is by far, there'll be an awful lot of work to be done on this. Okay. Nice flattened image. Simply marking it out where it's going to be for me. Now, I'm going to work on a little bit of the sky. Actually, I'll put the darks in first. I'll go ahead and put all these very darky darks in. Okay. What am I looking for here? A nice warmish dark along here. Orangey dark type thing. Nice cadmium red there. Raw umber, fair bit of blue. Help darken it down, and then some lamp black. I'll put a little bit of phthalo in it because there's going to be a green edges to it. Now what I'm doing here is putting in too little paint. Oh, just I want to see here now. Okay, so up and down. I'm not going to completely cover those rocks because I'll be wanting to place them in. This is where the rocks are going to be. Okay, nice and warm now. I'll need this a bit looser. Okay. Nice and dark. Some more phthalo green, just up and around the top here. A little bit more. Bring it over to here. A little bit of red to knock it back a bit, and some mineral spirits, some white spirits there. Get this worked in for now. Till I see where I'm going. Till I see what I'm doing here. Cool in some places, warm in others. Just playing with temperatures. Okay, so here we go. Getting these darks placed in. And that's the darkest areas of this. Oh yeah, by the way, I am working from somewhat of a reference, not entirely, but a bit of a reference. I have a bit of an idea where I'm going here and what I'm doing with it. Right, so I'm going to just put the sky on a little bit. What I'm after is a nice grey, orangey blue sky. Or at least it will look blue. So now if you add too much blue, it will become a green, so you add some red to knock that back, and then add a little bit more blue, and then a tiny bit of yellow to grey it. So then you have a grey. Let me see where we are. A bit more red and a bit more blue, and I'll put in a bit more cerulean too. I have a lot to do, I have a lot to cover, so I'm just going to play with this until I get it. Well, let me see. Now that's not quite there yet. A little bit of yellow, bring it back. That's too violet. A little bit of cerulean. That's a good grey. It's a good grey blue. Okay, so a bit more yellow. Oh, you see how grey that is now? It's a nice grey. So, some liquid there just to help me move this around a bit. And I think that it's still a bit, no, it's okay. I was going to say, I think it's a bit dark, but I don't think so. Let's see. And look at that. That's a grey. Look at how blue it is. Okay. Just changing it as I'm going, for the odd tonal change, the odd color change. It's not much, but you do see it, you do see the difference. Remember that this is nothing more than a background painting for the time being. I'm going to have a nice light source right in the center here. As you can see, I've already marked for it. So I'm just cognizant of that. I'm just keeping my mind there. That'll be some sort of horizon thing going on here. Okay, so a little bit of an orangey tint to this one. A bit brighter. Some more, maybe a bit more orangey, a bit more yellow. Let's just work this in here, folks. I will be going back over this one again, completely, because this is just the background painting. Let's work forward, let's work with. What have we got here? another nice softy brush. Let's get some color in this guy. I'm purposefully trying to, I'm not coming up too close here. I'm going to bring it to this area here. And then we'll bring the clouds to meet it so it all works together. And the same up here as well, just being careful of it. I've already got some sort of an orange down here. Like a cream orange. Not sure if this is the right brush. Doesn't feel right to me. Let's see. Tiny bit of oxide. Just the tiniest bit. Helps cream it up a wee bit. A bit better with that. A bit yellower actually. Let me get a touch more yellow. I have a feeling this is going to be a long one. I'm going to be revisiting this one quite a few times. So, as I said before, staying away from those clouds. Until I get it established a little bit. Let's work into that a little bit. Just covering this, what's down here. Softening these edges, bringing the cloud in and around it. I don't want to go into it too much. I do want it a bit darker up in and around there. Alright, okay. Alright. Adding a little bit of cerulean here. Just wanting to keep this nice and grey and blue at the same time. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gently work this in. There we go. Just blend this together for now. And again, as I always say, subject to change, everything. Subject to change. And I think that will do for the background of the sky for now. Let's work on this little mound here that I have going here. Little background trees, sorry, not mound. Little background trees. Let's go for a darkish grey. I'll use what's already down just to darken this background lot here. I need a bit more. Pussyfooting around, that's all I'm doing, just pussyfooting around here, so I'm just gonna get into it. Okay, now let's get that going. Right, okay. That is okay for a little background thing, and I'll have a wee go at just soften it. Oh, it's lifting a little bit. Well, that's all right. Righty. Let's work on this here. We'll see where this is taking me. Right, so let's get some a bit of a darker dark in here. Nice brownish color. Just keeping this as the background painting for now. That's all. Okay. I'm using a bit of liquid because I have a feeling, that I will use this tomorrow. But I just saw something that I need to do there. Just bring this in a little bit in here. I think it was a bit too far away from what I wanted. Sometimes I have a fear of using too much paint in front of it. It's quite miserable. You know, I don't want to put on too much paint. I don't want to waste paint. I think it's just being, I don't know, what's the word, I suppose, just being cautious, frugal. You kind of had to be frugal, you know, so I'm kind of carrying those traits across. Well, anyway, all I'm doing here is just establishing this. And then I will establish this even further here. All right, I just remember not horizon, just right there. Okay. Just going to work on the edges of these trees here. So a nice orangey, greeny brown. Okay, and gray as well. This is a high contrast piece today. Some phthalo. Let's just work with this. I don't want to create too many edges here because, as I keep saying, this is background painting. And so I'm just coming up to the white part here and establishing that as an edge here. So there's going to be a little tree up here and a couple of trunks and all up along here. So no point in me doing anything permanent yet. Okay. Right, now that has given me an edge there. Or has. I'm just going to place in some rocks. Just establish it along here. Right, I think I'll put it up. Oh, I think I'll put it a little bit of raw umber. Oh, you're missing me raw umber. Yellow, a little bit of red, keeping it nice and dark for the base of the rocks. A bit darker still. I think I'll add a bit of black to it, just to help darken it down a bit. A little bit of mineral spirits, a little bit of white spirits, and let's lay in these rocks here. Now, if you see the way I'm moving my brush, I'm just creating those sharp edges with the width of the rocks. And let's lighten that a little bit in certain areas, or my palette. I'm barely noticing that one, that lightning at all. Let me see, a little bit of liquid, using some white. A little bit of liquid for now, and I'm just establishing the idea of something off in the corner, off in here. Right, okay. That's just obviously the base of what my intentions are. Right, let's work on the water here. What I'll do is I'll bring this reflection down. Okay. This is a very orangey, yellowy gray. A bit of blue in it now. Just to bring that gray out of it. It's pretty dark too, I must say. It's pretty dark. So plenty of blue, bit of lamp black in it. Some liquid. Okay. I think I'm just going to lighten it up a little bit. Red and yellow. I want an orange here. I want a real gray orange. There we go. Now, I'll add a good bit of weight to that, just to bring it up in tone. I think what I need to do is add more liquid out, a little bit just. Oh, sorry. Yes, a little bit. My foot. Way too much. Anywho's. I have the same issue down here. I want to stay away from this area. So I'm going to have it nice and dark down in here. A bit bluish, a bit more blue than what I have it. And it's going to gradually get lighter as we move up. And I'll do all my blending a wee bit later this time. Just being careful of my wee boat, that's all. Don't want to ruin its composition, so I don't want to ruin it sitting there. Those reflections are going to need to come out a little bit further. As you see, I'm staying away from this shape of light down here. Alright, now that should come up a little bit more here. More reflections are looking a bit large, looming large. Right, so I'm going to work on this brighter area down here. Oh, for goodness sake, way too much. Using big brushes, you can just go ahead and pick up too much sometimes. Alright. Yeah, almost got it here. Now, same as before. All I'm doing is staying away from the edges of these for now, and then I'll come in a wee bit later, in a moment or two, and just work it in. Okay, but I do want to reach out a little bit. It's going to come up Because this will be wet, you see, as well, folks. I want to stay away from the center of it because I don't want it to be too dirty. So I'm just working cautiously, carefully. I'm warming that up a bit. Let me see, how is my hand here? As far as that's okay. Light is a bit harsh at times. Not easy to work with at times. Right, so I want that to be a fair bit smaller. But what I've done allows me to, what color have I got on that? Allows me to come down into it. Nice and gently. See now, bringing that down. Now, it is there. Now we're just going to work this in here. A little bit of liquid, just because I'm working down here with liquid. So I'm just going to be consistent in that way. Okay, so just keeping this. So far we are getting there, folks. Now, I just want to work a little bit on this this boat reflection. I think this is pretty good for just an underpainting. I shall come back whenever it has dried and really mess around with it. So but I'm not done yet. I still have a bit of blending to do and a bit of this and a bit of that to do. So let me just I don't want to do too much because I need to leave myself room for things. Tomorrow it's so easy to lay this down and get carried away with it. I'll need the room to add the trees and add whatnot and this and that and what have you. And everything is just the background for now. But it's still going to be softened. All the edges are going to be softened, stippled and softened. Okay. Now I'll use it. Actually, I'll do. I am almost done for today. Just blending this in. Almost done for today. Almost done for today. Yeah, I think that's it for today. I think all of it just ready to come along and just properly work on it. I just wanted to put a bit of a background down on here. That's all. Yeah, come along and just colorize everything, as it were. Aye. That'll do. Hold on a wee second. I almost walked away. The reason I want soft edges at this stage is that it'll be easier tomorrow whenever I'm coming along, or whenever I visit this again. It'll be easier just to create the edges for myself. And if I don't like them whenever I come back, well, I just simply paint over them. Nah, just before I venture off, just having a wee think. I might as well mark in where the water line is on the boat. So it is already marked there, but might as well do it with paint. Rather than the background. Right, do. Right, folks. As I continually say, am I happy with this progression? I think so. Just having a wee look. I think so. I think that'll do for the time being. Alright. As I always say, for me, it could be a week. For you, just a mere second. Okay, folks, let's get back to this one. It's almost dry. Dry enough to work on. Oops. Right, so let's work on this part of the sky here. Let's get this in and done. A nice softish brush. Let me see what my options are. There we go. And there we go. Right, okay, so let me see what my options are. Okay, so now I'll work around here for the time being. So I'm taking my time. I'm in no rush. So let's get up a nice grey-orange going on here. Probably need to put out some more liquid, but we'll see. A nice grey-orange. Now this grey-orange is going to be throughout the painting. It is. I'll most likely work on the sky and then work on the water. But we'll see. I'm not making any full decisions yet. So a nice, a yellowy edge this towards the blue. So I'm just going to put some of this in it, some white in it, and then some cerulean, a little touch of ultramarine. Now we have a greenie, a little bit more red to knock that green back. What in the world? Okay, so let me just play with the colors here, folks. Now, what do I think of that? Am I okay with that? Let me see. I think that is dead on. Indeedly. I think that's good. Okay. Maybe a bit more blue. Maybe just a touch at the base here, and then I'll lighten it as I'm going up. Yeah, it's a bit better. Yeah, okay. Just don't want to do it too much though. This is a warmish painting today. Okay, so now I'm just going to come up into this area up here. And before I start playing around with the gradient of the sky. And just placing it here and there just for variation purposes. Okay, I think I will put a little bit more liquid here. Alright, this will be actually this will all be liquid today. There will be no spirits in it today at all. This is a liquid day because I want to work on this one tomorrow again. Right, so let me see where we are. So I'm just going to lighten it a little bit. Put a little bit more orange in it, and a little bit of a lighter, tiny bit more red. Take it towards the red side of things. Let me see here. Now I think that's a bit too bright. Oh, just there we go. That's a bit better. Now I am not going to blend it in just yet, but because I'm using liquid, it can tack up very quickly. So it can't. So I won't be too long before I blend it. And the background painting that I put down was dead on for this. I suppose I might have been able to get it a bit closer in color, but nah. I don't think it really matters because it is getting covered over. I wouldn't beat myself up over it. A little bit of blue and a little bit of red. Mostly blue. Just bluing it in. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to not talk too much. And just let myself paint here. If I feel I have anything to say, I will let you know. Oh, excuse me. All right, folks. Now, back to it. For that rude interruption. Now, let me see. A bit more yellow as I'm heading up here towards the light. And I want a bit more paint on my brush too. Sometimes I find myself doing that. I'm a bit miserable with paint. I think it's just in the early days you're trying not to waste anything. Just a hangover from there, which I think it's a good thing, to be honest. Yeah, it's certainly not a bad thing to not be wasteful of paint. As I'm heading towards here, I just wanted a bit more, now not too orangey, but a bit more. Let me just see, that's a bit better. Warming these edges up a little bit around this area here, and down through here. Okay, now on a nice blue area up at the top there. There we go, that's a nice, yep, that's good. Okay, I'll just stick a wee one in here just as a reminder. Another wee one here, it's fine. Yeah, I'll be wanting it darker though, and duller and cooler. Okay. Now, I'm going to slightly change, I'm going to change the brush here. And put in this yellowish light with very little from here. I'm still putting in some from there, but not much. Just going to put in this. I think it needs to be a bit redder. And if you're following along, just take your time, slow down, and let yourself see what you're doing. Don't be afraid to slow it all down. There's a nice warm one now. There we go. Just getting around the edges here. Now, I am going to come into the center of this because I'll probably wait until it's dried and then lighten this area up a bit. We'll see how I feel later on. All right? And it should have tacked up a wee bit later on anyway. It should. Okay. I'm going to soften some of the stuff that I have put down here. Nice and gently. Just creating that cloud idea. Nice and soft. I think the underpainting showing through is quite nice. Just gently, I don't want too much of it showing through. I certainly like the idea of it being there. Okay. Now I'm going to add a little bit more of this and a little bit more of that. A nice grey, a nice blue grey. I want it over here. This is too blue for me. This area here and here, so I'm just going to wipe this out a little bit. Too blue for me for where it was. I don't mind that blue in and around down here, but not where it was. Okay. Remember, folks, this one is going to be take an awful lot longer than the ones I have been putting up on YouTube. This one is going to take longer. And a little bit more blue at the bottom. See, this is the game that you're trying to play here. It's a game of balance. Whenever you affect one thing, it affects the other. So you keep back and forward, just to play the game. And I'm just putting a little bit more blue in down around here. I think, let me see, maybe a bit more blue than that. You still, I don't want it too blue now. Down here, but I do want it to be an obvious blue, like so. Maybe a bit brighter though. Yeah, it's a bit better. Okay. All right now, you always have the option of coming in later. I'm just going to stipple this in and glazing it and scumbling it. But it's also nice to get it at this stage. Right. Okay. So I think I'll just leave the water. I think I'll work on this area here. Okay, let me see. Over nice nice blue here, nice gray dark blue along there, orangey warm one. So let me see, I'm just going to use what I've got here. So some orange. There's a nice orange. Now if I add blue to that, it just greens it out. Particularly after a green, I want a nice dark. A nice dark color here. So I'm going to add in some raw umber, some blue, just to that orange, and then some lamp black to help darken it even further. Just have a wee look at that, and I think we're there. You know, it might be a bit dark, but I think we're there. But let me see. I just have a wee. Okay. Maybe a bit blue. I forgot about this area here, folks. Right. I'll get there. Tell you what, I'm going to do it now. I've got the brush sitting here. So I'm just going to lighten this area here. Just lighten this up a bit. These are in the distance here, so they are a little bit more orange though. I like working with these grays. Right, so let me just make sure that I am not going over me boat. Okay. There we go. Let's just keep this in the distance here. Let me have a wee look at it. Okay, now I'm just going to blend it in with this area up here. You see it just fading off in that gradient in the background. Now I'm going to take a little bit off the brush and then I'm just going to blend it in. Okay, nice and gently now. Nice large spike here, just okay, right, just a little bit more. Right, back onto this boy over here. Right? A little bit of liquid just to help it move around a bit. Now, I'm not coming up to the edges just yet, or I'm not going to touch the edges just yet. I'm working towards them. And the reflection of this is pretty much the same. Maybe a bit warmer, maybe. Just a little bit of red in it, just is all. Just going to bring it down, mess around with it a little bit here. You see we have tucks in there, so just being cautious of its shape, being cognizant of its shape. Okay, now I want a little bit, just poking out here. I've lightened this just a touch. Now, I just want to soften that a little bit. I know I said I would keep quiet, but it's very hard for me to shut up, you know. I like talking when I'm doing this. I must say, I do like it. Since doing the YouTube videos, I've enjoyed the just doing them, you know. It feels like somebody is here with me. It's quite a nice feeling. I think sometimes being an artist can be quite a lonely job, and I'm not knocking it. Some of the times I want that. I need that solitary thing. But certainly there are other times when it can get a bit lonely at times. I think it's a bit too dark maybe. Let me see a bit more blue in it. There we go. Just darkening the base of this here. More way too much. Wipe that off and then put that back in again. All right, okay. I just want that fading in a bit more than what I had it there. There we go. Alright, alrighty, right. So, I still have, I think I'm going to work in this area here. What's needed is I'm going to glaze this into a real dark glaze here. It looks dark on camera, but it's not that dark. But a nice warm dark as well. You wouldn't know it, but this is quite a warm painting. Okay, so let's get some orange going again. Orange is the main theme for today. A nice red orange and a nice, I'll put some of that transparent oxide red in. Now I want to darken this down. This is a glaze. I'm going to glaze the bejesus out of this one. Nice and dark, not green but dark. I don't mind it being a bit green. It's going to be, if you're going to add blue to it, you know, it is just going to be that color. Right, so I think we're there. Now lots of liquid. I think we're there. Lots more liquid. A little bit more red. All right, let me see. I don't know what you can see on camera there, but I'm just going to lay this in nice and dark. Okay, now. A bit of an accident there, a bit of the green coming through, but I'm happy with it happening there. So it's okay with it happening there. Let me say a little bit darker in certain areas for sure, and a little bit warmer too. A nice red dark here. Yeah, that's a bit better. Okay, now you see I'm leaving the space for the rocks there. So I don't want to work too far into the sky yet until I have finished the sky. So what I'm going to do is I am going to work on this on the water here. The boat will be basically the last thing I do. Not entirely. If I find a color that's matching it, I will block it in just to have it there. In fact, there is a color there that I'm happy enough with, and I think I'll just block in the base of the boat here with this glaze that I've already put down. This nice warm glaze. Okay, just in here now. Okay, 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 okay. Mm-hmm. I'm not being too sharp with my work at this stage. I'm just laying this down, and now I'm taking because this side is a little bit lighter. All I'm doing is taking a little bit more off the brush, so that I have to scrape it on, as it were. I'm still darkening it as such, just a touch. There we go. And the same goes for here. I want to have this nice and ready for the time. Okay? But I am not done with it yet. Okay. And now just mess around with the base of it here with the reflections. Now that's a water strike across the bow of the boat. I'm just going to leave it blank. Leave it for now. I don't want to do too much of it. Right, so let's get in down around here, worked in for now. Slowly, a gradient, pretty much the same as the sky but darker, just lightening as we're going along. Right, so lots of blue here. It's an orangey. Same as I say, same as the base. So get some red and get some yellow in it, and okay, so it's a darkish grey here. A little bit of raw umber just to help grey it a little bit. Put in a bit of cerulean. That helps cool it a little bit. Now I want to see what that's like. Well, it's nice and dark and blue anyway. All right, and I think it's too dark. I think that's the problem that I'm facing here. But I'm okay. I'm going to lay it down, and then I'm going to lighten it. Just not too hard to lighten. Let me see. A bit later still, because I'm going to work into the dark that I put down. So later still, in order for it to blend properly, there we'll go. Maybe later still. I want to see a contrast here between the reflection and the water. So later still. Here I come to save a day. For some reason that's stuck in my head, and I don't know. Is it Mighty Mouse that sings that? I'm not quite sure. Okay, so I want to grey this out. It's too blue for me, so let's grey it out with some orange. Yes, that's a bit better, I think. Yep, it's too dark though. Let me see. Alright, so this is the game of play now. This is, I just work this in. lighting it as I go up. Oops, it is a bit too much. A little bit more blue, just let me see what that is like. Okay, that's too blue. I want a little bit more grey than that. So just playing with it, taking it up, bringing it back. Let me see. Just having my own wee look here. Just needs to be a bit brighter. Okay. Now we're talking. That's a bit better now. I'm happier with this. So you see how often I am playing with the colours and the tones. Mostly that's not the colours, the tones basically. It's just a game of constant back and forward, back and forward, back and forward. Now I've got a bit too much blue on that part of the brush. I might think overall I think it's too blue, you know. I want to grey it out a little bit more. Yeah, I think it's a bit better. All the work, what's down here into it, maybe a bit brighter. I'm feeling a bit better about that now. I just thought it was too blue. I didn't want it to be this blue, not yet anyway. I'll see what I'll put into it later on. Probably won't change it, but as I always say, everything is subject to change. Alright, let's just bring this down nice and gently. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a moment to myself. And I'm going to see what I think over with this stage. So far, okay. So far I'm getting the basics down right. So, okay, I'll need to just mess around a little bit more with the shape of this reflection, which I shall do forthwith. Let me see here, just. Nice and soft. Just remember, this is a nice reflection here now. There's going to be a bit of a sticky out bit there. And just lift this up a little bit, and there we go. For now, that is nice. I am taking a little bit off the brush here. There's too much paint on, it's hard to control when it's like that. And then a little bit more and just put this in, be more decisive with it. Okay. Right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be, again, a bit more decisive with this up here. So I'm going to put in this now. I'm going to try not to be too stuck on this because I'll be coming along and putting in more sky. But I do want to have the idea for myself sitting there. It's a bit much going out like so, but okay. Now, I think for the time being that's fine. There are going to be some rocks along here, so I'm just going to note them. I'll do it this way here. I'm just going to note them. That's all I'm doing here, just to remind me that I want to put in a few rocks there. Now, I'm going to work on the rocks on this side now. So we have here is a nice one in here, nice deep reddish. Just going to continue using the same brush, and it's a pointed brush. This is synthetic in series 363, size 2, a Koya they're called, and they're from Jackson's. I am not affiliated with them in any way whatsoever. So let's get in some nice colors on these rocks here. A nice deep red in here. Deep dark red. Yeah. Put a bit of blue in it, just to help darken it down a bit. Tiny bit of liquid to help it dry. And then let's just see where we are. All I'm doing is laying in the foundations of it here. Yeah, maybe a bit more blue over there. I don't want to cover too much in this because there'll be darks going in and lights going in. I'm just laying down a little bit here and there. A little bit more blue. Certain areas. And then some proper darks. Put the dark in here and there, and anywhere that suits. Anywhere you think a nice ridge will pay off. Now remember, we have the rocks and then we have the reflection of the rocks. So I'm going to put some of this in down and around here. Now it's going to be all blurred, the reflection of the rocks, for sure, but still pay attention to them because every part of it's important. Every part of the process is important. Don't be giving up on it just because it's a wee thing that's stuck in the corner. No, keep playing on with it. Right, so nice. Guess what? A nice orangey green. There we go. Bet you didn't see that coming. Nice orangey gray, I'll say again. So this coloration here. A little bit of blue. I'll grey it out a little bit more. A tiny bit of white just to brighten it and lift it a bit. Now, I'm just going to put in some areas here. Yeah, an annoying little fly buzzing around here, which I will have to take care of in a moment or two. I have some I'm going to just some. Okay, folks, I just went and had myself a wee coffee. So I did. So I'm just going to be working on these rocks to get a general overall feel of it. And then I'll come and do all my highlighting and whatnot whenever the time comes with a little bit of raw umber into this orange. All I'm doing now is just laying down the idea of rocks here and here. Now I think that's a bit green. Let me see. Oh, I think I'll take a little bit of red in it, just to knock that green out of it, and a little bit of blue. Okay, now a little bit more white, just to pull it up a bit. Let me see what that looks like. Yeah, it looks okay. It does. It's over here. As I say, just creating the idea that there are rocks in here. Yes, I'm not going to be too cautious here. I will place everything in. Just putting this background down for now. But what I definitely want to do is lay in the reflections here, folks. So right along the waterline here, I'm going to pick the mid-tone. Okay. Just making it scraggly and a bit brighter. And a bit brighter still. That's a bit better. Just roll this across here like so. Of course, this will just be suppose you could say this is another underpainting for the rocks here, at least. Now, all I'm going to do is soften that up a little bit and leave that until it tacks up somewhat. So just nice and gentle, nice and gentle, nice and gentle, and then just scrape it down a bit. Let it go down into the water there. There we go. And get ourselves a nice reflection. What I'm going to do, I'm going to work in around here. I think I'm going to lighten this a bit, actually. You know, I think it's a bit too dark for my liking. For my liking. Lovely jubbly. Let me see, what is that? That's it there. Yeah, so let's lighten that a little bit. Tiniest bit of blue in it, not much. Let me just see now. Yeah, a little bit lighter still. Just up at the horizon here, and I'll fade it down. And all I'm doing here is I'm just testing that. I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to just lighten it a little bit more. Keep saying, oh, I'm happy with that, and then I go and lighten it a little bit more. Okay, I think that'll do. If I'm not too happy with it, I will glaze it slightly darker. I'll scumble on some darkness into it or something like that. So I'm not too fussed. But I think I am happier with that. I am indeed. I know I am. Okay. Now, of course, I'm just creating this here. And then I will be cautious about how much I'm coming down. Underneath is still wet, so it'll blend well. I say, underneath is blending with it already. So I'm going to use that to my advantage. And just soften this all out now. Wipe the brush off and use it as a bit of a blender, as it were. Well, that's just gently now. Underneath is still wet, so this is blending on the canvas. All right now. There we go. Let me see. Okay, yep. Happy with that. So let me just pick up some of this dark here and blend it in and around the base of this. There's that wee dog going. Can you hear him? All right. Nice and gentle stippling. Just as I'm coming up closer and closer, I'm barely touching the canvas now. Although I'm stippling it, I don't want it mixing too much with this. I just want a nice softish gradient there. And I think it's a bit too much here. So I'm just going to bring this up a little bit. There we go. Now you can see the tree there, the reflection of it. I'm just going to soften those edges. There we go. Yep. Nice. Nice. Right. Oh, let me see now. Let's get into this little area down here. Right, let me see. Do I need a new brush? I probably do. Nice orangey color. Surprise, surprise, eh? But a grey orange, as always. A little greyed out. A little bit more red. I don't want it to be a green. See, when you mess around with yellow, almost anything turns a yellow-green. Let me see where we are there. And maybe a little bit darker. A little bit grayer. Just check on that now. Let me see, I think I'm alright with that. Just having a wee look at it. I think it's a bit too dark. So I'll put it over here, out of the way, and then lighten it. Just lighten this a bit. Okay. And then as we're moving in towards the center of it, it'll obviously just getting a little bit lighter as we're moving towards it. A lot lighter as we're moving towards it. And a little bit more yellow as well. One here, let me see. I just want to work this in a little bit brighter. Then just stand away from this area here a little bit because I want some reflection coming down through here. And then I'm just going to work this in. create edges here, to create nice soft edges. I'm going to do a number of things at the same time. Well, not at the same time. I'm going to work in the softer area here. I'm going to lighten it with blending it along here, or stippling it along here. Coming into it, coming into it. Nice and, yeah, that's nice now. I want to add a little bit more orange just here, a little bit more warmth around the base. And now I'm going to bring the sky down to it using this brush here. That was the brush that I had. Okay, let me see. Just checking. Okay, a little bit brighter. There we'll go. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a combination of stroking down. I'm going to take, this is going to be a wipe, continual wipe thing. So I wipe it off the brush. Now I come up into it. Wipe it off, come up into it, wipe it off, and so on and so on. Then I'm going to come in the other direction in a moment. So from here, down, here, down, drawing it into it to create reflections, to create soft. I'm just hurrying, I'm just going a little bit faster. They both can be blended in now. There you see a nice softish thing going on here. And I'm just going to lighting it up here and there. This thing is a bit dark. Oops. Right, now we're talking. Now, let's work in around these edges here and see what we've got. Now, there's going to be a nice big tree up here, so I'm keeping that into account. So it's going to be up here, and I'm just going to soften these edges because it's going to be coming out somewhat. Okay, so just I don't want to come into it too much though, but just a bit. So let's see.